So this is June 2008, Unit 2, Stage 2. You must have yourself a scientific calculator before you start, otherwise you're just going to lose marks, okay? So use your calculator to work out this. This is where having a Casio is going to make your life really, really easy because you literally just type in exactly as it says. Bracket 3.4 plus 2.1, close bracket, squared times 5.7 equals literally all you do. Write down all figures on your calculator display. 172.425. 2 marks, done. Next question. We've got angles and parallel lines. My recommendation for an angles question is not to get too bogged down about what the question's asking for to start with. It's about looking at the picture and labeling everything you can. So I've not even read the question yet, but I know I've got angles and parallel lines. I know that opposite angles are equal, so I can label that as 120. I know that opposite angles are equal, so I can label that as 60. Okay, I know that Z angles, but we don't write Z angles ever. Z, there's my Z. So Z is alternate angles are equal. So this angle and this angle are equal, 60. I know angles on a straight line. I'm just filling in all the angles I can at the moment. Genuinely, that's what I would do. Angles on a straight line add up to 180. So that's going to be 120. Then I know that opposite angles are equal, 120. Opposite angles are equal, 60. Can't really label anything else. I labelled everything. Let's have a look what we actually need to do. Work out the angle, the value of y. We already did it, 120. Now, I like this approach because rather than trying to look for all things you can to get to the one you want, which just tends to confuse people, just label everything you can. And trust me, the one you want was going to pop out. Give a reason for your answer, okay? With this, though, we need to be able to work out how we got there from the ones we wanted. So for me, there's a few different ways of doing it, but you have to give an answer that would take you from the ones they gave you to the ones that you had. So we can either have use this rule here, so corresponding angle, co-interior angles add to 180. You could have had, there's an upside down F there, corresponding angles are equal. What did we do? I guess what we did is we did opposite angles are equal. Then we could have done a Z. So opposite angles are equal, then alternate angles are equal. Or we could have done opposite angles are equal. Then we did a Z to get that one. And then we could have done angles on a straight line. It doesn't matter. As long as you can get from where they started to the ones that you wanted, you will get the mark, okay? So for, we can choose any of those. So let's just go for co-interior angles add to 180 degrees. But again, whatever your route to get there was is fine, all right? So again, you could have also had or corresponding angles are equal. Or do what we did and go, but then you need to list all of them. Opposite angles are equal, alternate angles are equal, and then angles on a straight line add to 180. That's what we did. Whatever you actually did, write it down, okay? Okay, this question. Now these questions are super easy, they're just substitution. All right, so complete the table of values for this. Bit of a cheat to start with. What shape is this graph? It's going to be a straight line graph because there's no x squared in it or x cubed in it. So if I can work out the pattern, I can fill in the numbers. All right, a bit of a cheat, but it works. What it also means is if we worked it all out and we've got one point that's sticking out from all the others, you know that you messed up with that one. I would never start by substituting in -2. I just wouldn't. You're going to mess up on minus numbers far more easily than if you start on the plus numbers. I tend to start on 1, then I'll tend to do 0, 2, do the positive numbers first, work out what the pattern is, and then try 2, or the minus numbers. Okay, so 0 times 3 gives me 0, plus 2 gives me 2. It's just substitution. Now, when x is 2, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 add 2 is going to give me 8. Right, look at the pattern, guys. This is the nice little cheat for this. What's the pattern? I'm going up 3 every time. So what's going to go in here? -4. Now, what we could have done is done 3 times -2 is -6, add 2 is -4. But just to make sure you haven't messed up, use this nice little method of working out the pattern. That would not work. There's a different pattern if there was a squared there, okay? And now we need to plot. Now be really, really careful. Draw the graph. I say that really emphasis on that because if you just draw the coordinates, you have not drawn a graph, you've drawn coordinates. Once you have drawn your coordinates, you must join them up, otherwise you will lose marks. Okay, so we're going to have -2, -4. -2, -4 is down here, you can't see, down here. Then we've got -1, -1. We've got 0, 2. We've got 1, 5. And we've got 2, 8. Now, if any of those looked wrong, say, for example, you may have messed up this one, that may have gone somewhere else instead or whatever, you would be able to really, really clearly see where you messed up because it would be sticking out. You're looking for a straight line. Now, I don't actually have a ruler with me, which is unfortunate, so I'm going to use a tissue box. But you need to make sure that you have a ruler with you in the exam. You need to be really careful that your line passes through the center of all of those points. Again, if you do not do that carefully, you will lose marks, okay? They must go through the center of all of those crosses. Notice I've been really, really careful to take that through those points, okay? If you did not join up those lines, join up those points, you lose a mark. You haven't drawn a graph, you've just plotted coordinates. Okay, let's have a look. So Ahmed is planning a holiday. The holiday costs £450. He pays a deposit of £30. How much does he pay? Super easy question if you've got a calculator. We want 0.3, which is our 30% of, because of means times, 450. Yes, you can work out 10% and times it by 3, but the quickest way to do it is 0.3 times 450, which is going to give me 135. Okay, £135. Right, some algebra. Expand 3 times x is 3x. 3 times -2 -6. Okay, 3x minus 6. Next, again, there isn't a mathematical clip for this, but let's collect our terms together. 9x add 2x is going to give me 11x. Then we've got 8 minus 8y minus another 5y. So it's minus 8 degrees outside. It gets 5 degrees colder. We're at minus 13y. Do not think 2 minuses make a positive. That is not at all the case here. That only works if they're right next to each other. Okay, that's when they become a positive. There's a number in the middle that absolutely does not work. Think about temperature. Minus 8, take away another 5 is minus 13. Okay, so we've got 11x minus 13y. Next, okay, what we need to do here is actually really simple. The clue is only 1 mark question. I can also write this like this. I'm just writing this out in full. You'll see what I mean. So this bottom is x plus 2, x plus 2, right? Then all I have to do is go that. I can cancel the top and the bottom. That leaves me with 3 over x plus 2. Okay? Next question. Okay, the diagram shows a solid triangular prism. The prism is made of wood. The wood has a density of 0.85 grams per centimetre cubed. Work out the mass. So here's my triangular prism. I'm thinking of my mass density volume triangle. Okay, please remember your mass density volume triangle. I remember it because the M goes at the top because it's got 2 pointy bits like the top of the triangle. But please remember whatever you like. Okay. Another way of remembering it is when it tells you density and gives you the units, it grams per centimetre cubed. Centimetre cubed is the units of volume. Grams is the units of mass. So we know that density is mass divided by volume. Look, density is mass divided by volume. So even if you can't remember your triangle, you can construct your triangle from the information in the question. Okay, so we've got a triangle. So it's asking me to work out the mass, which means I need the density and the volume. The density is given me, so I've got to work out the volume. Volume of a prism, I always tend to work out the area of the front face times it by the length, okay, or the depth, or whatever you want to call it. So the area of the front face. So area of this triangle is going to be base times height divided by 2, or half base times height, however you tend to remember it. Okay, so 8 times 12 divided by 2. 8 times 12, that says 42. 8 times 12 divided by 2 is going to give me 48. Okay, so the area is 48 centimetres squared. So I remember I said volume of a prism is the area of the front face times length. Okay, so we're going to have our 48 times by our length or depth or whatever you want to call it, 15. So we need to do 48 times 15. 48 times 15 is going to give me 720. What are our units? Well, the area was centimetres squared, so we're going to have centimetre cubed. So we've now got the volume is 720 centimetres cubed. We've got the density, gave us in the question, is 0.85 grams per centimetre cubed. This is always worth just double checking your units. Are our units consistent? We've got centimetres cubed and centimetres cubed, so yeah, we're gonna be good. Okay. If our volume was in something different, then we need to absolutely convert first. So you go back to my triangle. I've got my volume, I've got my density, I want the mass. We need to times them together. So mass is density times volume. So density times volume, mass equals density times volume. So density is 0.85 times volume, 720. Okay. So 0.85 times 720 gives me 612. Now be really careful. Let's think about what the units are going to be here. Always look back to what you've just calculated with. The centimetre cubes sort themselves out. That was going to be grams. That's what we had in our question. Yep, that makes sense. Be really careful. They may have asked for kilograms here, and then you would have needed to convert your grams into kilograms. So just be really careful with that. Okay. This is amazing. This is on a calculator paper. We literally just type it in. So bracket 3 times 10 to the power of 9. I press sideways there to get the cursor back down. It's divided by bracket 6 times 10 to the power of 11. Close my... Ooh. The battery's going in this. That's not helpful in the slightest. Okay, I think the battery is going drastically. I can't even read this. Hang on, let me see if I can change the brightness. No, that's not helpful at all. Okay, so let me try one more time. It seems to have come back. 3 times 10 to the power of 9. Close my bracket. Divided by 6. It's going again. Times 10 to the power of 11. Close bracket, press equals. It does say 1/200. I'll pause the video and find a new calculator and carry on.